everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this double Z fold card using the Animal Safari stamp set with thin cuts from Close to My Heart. So let's get started. I'm using espresso cardstock for the base, and then the pattern papers I'm going to be using the Yesterday and Today new papers along with the new mix-in paper collection. So I'm cutting this at 4 1/4 by 11, and then I'm going to score it at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2 inches. And I'm just using the track in my trimmer and my score tool. And now I'm taking a piece of saffron and I'm cutting it at 1 1/2 inches, and that's 1 1/2 by 11, and then I'm going to adjust it as needed. So I'm using a piece of the mix-in papers, and I'm going to take that bottom portion. It sort of looks like it could be a tribal print, so I'm going to use that to decorate the second Z portion on that saffron. So I've decided to match that with the espresso print paper from Yesterday and Today. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this to the cardstock with a little extra on either side to give it a border. So I'm gluing that down, and then I'm going to put it in my trimmer and then trim it and leave a border on the other side as well. And then I'll trim it again so that it is 11 inches. And then I'm going to glue that to my saffron cardstock. And then I decided I didn't want the border to be quite as wide on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down just like I did the other one, with the amount of space that I want at the bottom. And the great thing about bonding memories is you have a little bit of time to make adjustments before it is completely dried. And then I'm going to put that back in my trimmer and trim off a little bit off the top so that the border isn't quite as wide. Now I'm ready to score this one also to do my Z-fold. So I am making score marks at 5 1/2, and I'm going through 3 pieces of paper, so I had to be careful with scoring that one. And then I flipped it around and I scored it at 2 3/4. Okay. So now I'm bringing in my glass mat because I'm going to use the grid paper from Yesterday and Today, and I'm going to ink it so that it has kind of an African sunset sort of look to it. So I am just attaching it with temporary adhesive to my glass mat so it doesn't float around while I'm blending, and I'm using a blending brush, and I'm starting with Canary, and I'm just blending the lighter color in, and I'm not worrying too much about the bottom portion of this piece of cardstock because it's going to be covered up by that border that I just made, the other Z-fold. So I'm just putting the Canary ink on this, both of these pieces, and then I'm going in with saffron, and I'm just going to do a blend from dark blending to the lighter color from the bottom to the top. So I'm adding saffron color, and then I'm going to add some nectarine. I love how you can change piece of pattern paper. I like the pattern to it. I just wanted to give it some color and a different look to it. So just add some ink and you can make everything work. So I'm adding the nectarine to that, and then I'm going to go back in with saffron, and since I'm going from dark back to light, I just took a rag and cleaned off my blending brush a little bit, and then just kind of worked everything together. So now I'm using my rub and remove eraser to get rid of that temporary tape, and I'm going to stamp some animals from the Animal Safari set, and I'm stamping these on vanilla cardstock, and I put these in my stamping tool because they're detailed stamps, and I wanted to make sure, because of the size, that I would get them evenly stamped, and if I needed to, like right here, I could go back and stamp a second time. So now I'm going to bring my Close My Heart mat in and assemble the base to my card. And again, I'm using Bonding Memories. So I'm going to put that piece of, it's cut at 4 by 5 1/4, so I could leave a border of espresso cardstock around it. And then the other one's cut at 4 by 2 1/2. And I'm doing the same thing. Now I'm ready to fold my Z. So I'm going to fold it in half and then fold it back. So now I have my Z fold, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other Z, except the front portion of it is the longer side, and then the back portion of the Z is the shorter side. And that's how it'll fit into my card. So off camera, I have stamped my sentiment, While About You, and I have also stamped more animals and die cut them, and I've colored them with the Spectrum Noir tri-blend markers. So I've got all my pieces, and my sentiment, I wasn't sure if I wanted to use the oval or if I wanted to use the banner, so I did both so I could kind of play around with placement of all the elements on my card and make that decision later on and have everything stamped and ready to go. So right now I'm just kind of placing things on my card and figuring out what works best as far as where everything should go. And now I'm going to attach that other Z. So I'm taking the longer side, it's folded at 5 1/2, and I've put adhesive just on half of it, up to 2 3/4, so it goes onto that front panel, and then the back panel, the back part of the Z, I've put adhesive on the short piece so that it's going to attach to the back. So there's no adhesive in between on that strip. And I'm just moving things around and kind of playing with elements on my card again. And I decided to try doodling on this banner piece with some dark brown, with a dark brown marker. I'm just gonna, because it kind of disappeared into that corner there, so I thought if I emphasized it a little bit more it would work. So I drew a little line around the edges, and I'm getting there as far as where everything should go. And I decided that the zebra wasn't going to fit on my card, so I will use him on a different project. All right, so now I'm ready to start tacking everything down, and I'm going to use the thin foam dots to put everything down. So now I've just sped everything up really fast because it's pretty basic. Just make sure that your foam dots go on the places that, on the areas that you want it to be attached to. So the elephant is going to be just attached at his legs, and he's going to be floating on that Z piece. So this stamp set with the thin cuts is still available. It's in the online only portion of my store, and I will add the link along with all the list of supplies used in the description below, so you'll be able to find it. And there's still stock. So you can purchase this set, and then the new papers, of course, are with the new catalog that just started a couple days ago. And I'll make a list of those items too. So this is my card, and this is what it looks like. I've added some jewels from PinkFresh Studio to fill in those open spaces, and that's how my Z works. I appreciate you spending some time watching my video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like what you see, please hit that like button as well. I appreciate you watching, and thanks.